Although Japan is usually associated with railways of speed, World Steam today has time for a brief look at just some of the steam operations to be found in these remarkable and photogenic islands. Standard gauge in Japan is 3 feet 6 inches, and the national network, which includes some private railways, moves millions of people each working day with frighteningly high levels of punctuality. But at weekends, the vast fleets of electric units take a break, and on many lines, some of Japan's numerous preserved steam locomotives are permitted to run. Western enthusiasts rarely visit Japanese soil, due largely to worries about cost, diet, language and culture. But the rewards are high for those who venture there. Here, a preserved C-57 class Pacific arrives at Suwano, one of Japan's oldest towns. Class leader C-571 has 2 claims to fame. She was restored after a dramatic encounter with a landslide in the early 60s and once pulled the Japanese royal train for Emperor and Empress Hirohito. The Japanese have more rail fans per head of population than any other industrialized nation, and there were many Japanese train watchers at the line side long before the works of the Reverend Awdry became globally popular. Japanese mainline engines rely heavily on standardization, and many classes look similar at first glance. The C-57 is a heavier type Pacific used mainly on stopping and semi-fast passenger services. As in so many countries, the 462 wheel arrangement was the mainstay of passenger locomotives right until the end. The circular, front-mounted headboard denotes a named express, of which Japan had many, particularly overnight expresses from Tokyo. C-57 number 1 now leaves Suwano on a return trip to Oguri. This loco was one of Japan's first mainline engines to be restored, and she has been pulling excursion trains since 1979. In the early 70s, as workaday steam was dying, the Japanese National Railways embarked on a well-conceived plan of preservation that included the Umekoya Roundhouse Museum in Kyoto, a modern facility full of newly rebuilt locomotives of the major classes that would be available for many years to power excursions. And those responsible clearly appreciate that one live locomotive is worth any number of dead ones, and one engine is steamed every day for demonstration purposes. Some knowledge of railway heritage is clearly regarded as an important part of every child's education. C612 is one of 33 C61 464s, which together with 47 C60s and 49 of the awesome C62s gave Japan 129 Hudson types in total, which bore the brunt of the heaviest and fastest steam assignments. But there are some steam surprises in store. The museum at Meiji-Mura is a cultural open-air museum which uses both steam locos and trams to transport visitors around its extensive site. Steam power is, of all things, a 120-year-old Manchester-built Sharp Stewart tank. although there are other engines here too. The line is less than a mile in length, and the loco is religiously turned after each trip. There's no bunker first running here. The Oigawa Railway is a typical private operation, with steam runs at weekends in the tourist season. This private line was the forerunner of Japanese mainline steam operations. The combination of fine mountain scenery and steam locomotion demonstrates its universal appeal. The not unattractive C11 class 264 tanks once totaled 381. Being used for similar work to a BR standard 264 tank at home. Mr. Kiyohiro Sato is one of Japan's leading railway photographers. Today he's pointing his cameras at a C58 mixed traffic 262 on the Chichuba Railway, part of the Eastern Japanese system. Their steam-hauled Paleo Express runs every Sunday during the spring. Mr. Sato's train-chasing vehicle is equipped with an at-a-glance timetable and a railway clock. As he explains his hobby, it is apparent that the fascination of steam can cross all political and cultural frontiers.
Fortunately, the Japanese railways, more or less, are very punctual. So we got the right timetable and got a detailed map. We can have a more good shot of the pictures of the railway, as well as English people. We Japanese enthusiasts also feel like animal, or say the human beings with breathing. So the why they are so fascinating, or the like attractive. Maybe no words to express if we see them in steam or in operation.
The phasing out of steam in the land of the rising sun presented a quandary for the Japanese, who are both efficiency-orientated yet sentimental. As development advanced towards an ever more ultra-modern technology-based economy, it was clear that there was no place for steam to earn its living. As steam died, huge colour posters decorated public buildings and shop windows, and high-quality postcards and railway books were available everywhere. Even shopping bags bore images of mighty Hudsons with the legend C62 Japan's greatest steam locomotive. And as you can see, the C-58s were quite impressive too. The mountainous nature of this route means an electric loco is added at the rear for extra traction and braking when necessary. C-58 number 363 was built in 1944 and restored in the mid-80s, again after over 10 years of being crawled upon by children at a local primary school. Japanese stations with their characteristic high platforms are like their locomotives, functional. And their locomotives are like their motor cars, simple, uncomplicated, easy to maintain and reliable. Such niceties as articulation, multiple cylinders, compounding and inaccessible parts are unknown on home-built locomotives. But the universal electronic level crossing warning bleepers, effective though they may be, have a high irritation factor. The construction and export of two 15-inch gauge locos for Japan by the Lake District's Ravenglass and Eskdale Railway was well documented in the British railway press. Cumbria was the second such loco, built in 1992. The Blue Pacific Ernest W. Twining once ran on the Fairborn Railway, and Northern Rock 2 is identical to her English twin right down to the livery. The locos work the so-called Romney Railway through the Shishenji Rainbow Village, a sort of permanent garden festival. The line links two villages said to be built in English and Canadian styles. As the guidebook says, English-made 15-inch gauge steam loco gets you on board between English and Canadian village. Ninji no Sato is a new type of park where heart of peace and imagination is taken great care of with wealthy nature and pleasant experience. And who could put it better than that?